Hello, love bugs. Welcome to another episode of Girls Night. I'm your host, Carley Doxtator. And by the time this episode is released, it's actually going to be the Tuesday after Father's Day. So, first and foremost, I hope everybody had an amazing Father's Day celebrating the amazing men in our lives. I know that I went up to my parents' house to celebrate with my dad, so that was always really fun. Spring is upon us, so my dad always does a garden every year, which I got to pick some strawberries straight from the garden. I also have a garden myself that I've planted, so I'm just waiting for the fruits of my labor, literally, to come to fruition. So I'm excited for that. But seeing my parents is always a great thing, and I think especially as I get older, as my parents get older, I find that time really precious, and I really like spending it with them. So it's always really special when I get to go up and see them. On another note, I also just got back from Chicago. So this was my second time being in Chicago. Loved it both times. First time I went for Lollapalooza with one of my friends, and this time I actually went for a work trip. Really fun. I got to go to one of the Cubs rooftops for the game. I've never seen anything like that before. There's not a setup like that in the Coors Stadium. So it was a fun experience to go to a baseball game in a different city, especially because I feel like baseball is like a really big thing in Chicago. But that was really fun to go to Chicago. I stayed in the nicest hotel also. It was called the Drake. So if anybody is local to Chicago, you'll know what I'm talking about. But if you're not local to Chicago, you should definitely look it up. And I highly recommend staying there for your stay if you're going to visit because it's a historic hotel. So there's just really a lot of cool history. And you can tell with the architecture, with how it was designed, with all of the details, that it's just one of those old buildings that there was a lot of thought put into it. And I love architecture like that. I love all those cute little details. And just walking around, I felt like a princess. So whenever I can feel like a princess, I'm going to say yes. But I highly recommended it. Because I went on this work trip, I've actually just had a couple really busy weeks upon me. Um, it just feels like I've been kind of like go, 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 doing all these things. I actually helped to plan this work event in Chicago. I've been doing a lot of stuff with my life coaching, with my podcast. I've been expanding a lot of things, working on a lot of things in the background, which are really exciting and are to come. So I'll let y'all know when all the exciting things come officially. But because I'm working on all these things, I've been really busy. I've had a lot to do, even more so than normal. And I feel like sometimes when that happens, just for people in general, that's kind of when the procrastination kicks in, right? So we are going to do this episode all based on procrastination and how to be more productive in our lives. So I'm going to share some of my favorite tips on how I stay productive, especially on those days where it feels a little bit harder when you're feeling a little bit down or tired. On those days, it's especially important, I feel like, to be able to have these in your back pocket to help you get done all the things that you need to get done. So that's what the episode is about, and let's get into it. Hi, everyone. Life can get a little crazy, so let's talk about it. If you're ready to dive deeper, talk about what really matters, and feel a little more empowered, then you're in the right place. I'm your host, Carley Doxtator. I'm a life coach, baker, dog mom of two, and you're always there for you, gal pal. And I'm so excited to have you join me. So grab your fuzzy socks, put on your comfy pants, and let's have girls' night. All right. Well, first and foremost, procrastination is really just that act of putting things off until the very last minute. And then I think because of that, sometimes we do our best work. I feel a little hesitant saying that, but I want to say anyways, because sometimes when I have put things off until the last minute, it kind of forces me to do a really good job on it really quickly. But I think there's an asterisk along with that because even if you are producing good work still, when you've procrastinated, you are putting yourself through a lot of stress. And not only are you putting yourself through a lot of stress as you're getting the work done that you needed to get done, but the whole time leading up to the point where you actually start it, you're thinking about it in the back of your mind, like, hey, I need to do this thing, I need to get this done. So you're adding that like background stress into your life anyway. So, in my opinion, really not worth it to put things off until the last minute. I have learned that time and time again. And really, on the other side of it, too, is that when you put things off until the last minute, most of the time, you're not going to have the time to get it done in a way and with the quality that you normally would have if you actually set aside the time to do it, either progressively or just beforehand, so that you could tweak it and get it a little bit better. So, procrastination, just straightforward, as I said, is us kind of just getting our own ways, right? Like, to me, I feel like procrastination is our subconscious minds kicking in, and it's a form of self-sabotage because when you're doing this, it usually pops up in a time like my life right now, where either you're really busy or you're going through a lot of changes, and so that's prime time for your subconscious mind to kick in and say, hey, things are changing too quickly, too many good things are happening, I'm feeling overwhelmed, let's make this slow down. I'm going to shove on the brakes, and that's where that procrastination kicks in. So number one tip for me, when I'm kind of feeling that way, when I'm feeling blah, when I'm feeling tired, or when I really just do not want to do something that I know needs to get done, is to do the worst first. And that's what I call it, worst first. So I take the thing that I want to do the least that day and I do that thing first. And there's a couple of reasons that I do this, because with that thing, usually it's the thing that you have to get done anyways. So regardless of whether you do it at the beginning of the day or at the end of the day, it has to get done or else it's going to affect something. But also, it's the thing that you are dreading the most. So by doing it first thing in the morning or as quickly as you can when you have time, you are just alleviating your brain from having to think and stress about it all day. So, a really good example of this in my life is in my life in sales. So, especially when I first started in sales years ago, I was a BDR. And when you're a BDR or a business development rep, some companies call it a sales development rep. You're basically in that role where you're doing all of the cold calls, all of the cold outreach to people. That's where people are the meanest to you. They're hanging up on you all the time. Sometimes they yell at you on the phone. Nobody in sales likes to do cold calls. Like, nobody likes to do them. I would say it's the worst part of the job is having to do the cold calls. Um, but as a BDR, that was basically my job. And even at a previous role that I had, I was in charge of the full sales cycle. So I was not just closing sales and going through the whole sales cycle, but I was also opening them and doing all the jobs of the BDR. So especially in that role, it was really important too, because I had to make the cold calls in order to have the pipeline in order to meet my quota. And the cold calls are really important to get you to where you need to be in sales. So it was something that I had to do. It was always the part that I dreaded the most. So I would do them first thing in the morning so that I would not have to worry about them. And of course, if you're in sales, there's some arguments against that. Like, you have to do it at different times of the day or whatever. That's not what we're talking about right now. Um, but I would do them first thing in the morning, especially on those days that I really did not want to fucking do the cold calls. I would just get the cold calls over with as quickly as I possibly could. And I would do them kind of in like a block of time. So I would just do cold call after cold call after cold call for like an hour until I got the number of cold calls that I needed to get done. And so by forcing myself to do it, one, I'm kind of moving that stagnant energy that's in my body, because once you start going, it's going to flow a lot easier. You're going to get in the flow of it. You're going to get the hang of it. You're going to get it done a lot quicker. But also, the rest of the day, I didn't have to think about it at all. Like, on the days that I really didn't want to do it, I would do exactly the number of cold calls that I had to do, and then I would stop and I would not have to think about it. So, really, what I was doing, I was saving the rest of my day from that resentment, because the more that you think about it throughout the day, the more that resentment is going to build on top of each other and build on top of each other and build on top of each other. And by the end of the day, you're going to be feeling a lot worse about doing it than you did at the beginning of the day. So really just, I mean, I know that that's a sales example, but with anything that you have to do, anything at all that feels the most burdensome, like the thing that you really want to do the least, just get it done first. And I've heard other people call this like eat the frog or something like that, I think is the saying, but it's the same concept of like, do the thing that you want to do the least first so you get it out of the way, and then it's done with. You don't have to think about it anymore. Hi, Love Bug. I've got a juicy little gift for you. And if you've been feeling off, stuck in your head, or like your vibe just is not vibing lately, then this is for you. I created a free guide called The Three Secrets to Creating a Magnetic Energy Shift Right Now, and it's exactly what you need to start shifting your energy instantly. These are the exact tools I use with my private coaching clients when they're ready to stop chasing and start attracting. We're talking powerful, we're talking practical, and yes, of course, we are talking a little bit woo, but in the best possible way. In the guide, you will learn how to clear energetic blocks, activate your most irresistible frequency, shift into receiving mode, and there's even a bonus secret on how to use your body language to instantly boost your confidence and presence. So, if you're ready to feel like the version of you who turns heads, magnetizes opportunities, and walks through the world like the main character, then this is your sign. Head to the show notes and click the link to download your free copy. It is quick, it is powerful, and it is going to leave you feeling like, damn, I really am that girl. All right, let's get back into the episode. My second little hack for overcoming procrastination and being a little bit more productive is to make a to-do list. So this is really just a to-do list, but I like to call them to-do lists. And the reason I like to do it is because a to-do list, like to me, a to-do list already feels burdensome. Like when I think about my to-do list, I already like, even as I'm saying it in this moment, like I already start to feel this heaviness in my chest when I think about like a to-do list. But when I think about a to-do list, it's kind of, it's like magical feeling, and like it feels like you're doing something really fun and creative and like there's the magic part of it. And then also by the end, it's kind of like, ta-da, I did it. Yay. So that's my next hint. And I know that might sound small to some people, but really the language that we use has a really big influence on both our internal reality and our external reality. So making little tweaks in the language that you're using throughout your day actually make a really huge impact. So try making a to-do list instead of a to-do list next time. And when I put this in my phone, I literally just use like the notes app and I map out my to-do list, but I literally write to-do list and I put the little like magic wand like magician's wand emoji up with the little sparkle emoji after it. And to me, that also makes it feel a little bit more magical. And then when I am creating a to-do list, what I do, I don't put down every single little thing that I need to get done because, again, for me, that feels really overwhelming. If I'm like, okay, clean the kitchen, clean the bathroom, clean the bedroom, vacuum all the floors, call this person, call that one, set up this meeting, whatever it is that you need to do, like take the kids to school. If I write out every single one of those things, that feels very overwhelming to me. I cannot handle it. I'm not going to do it. So what I do, I kind of pick like the top 10 things maybe that like I want to get done. And I kind of generalize them. So I'll say like clean the house. And then or I'll say and I'll just organize it in that way so it doesn't feel quite as overwhelming. And honestly, in my mind, like when I say clean the house, I kind of have like a priority list of like the areas that are most important to me to get cleaned that day, just so I can kind of prioritize in that way. But in the same name of prioritization, when I make this to-do list, I have my like 10 or so items on it. If there are 10, there's not always that many, but I always pick the top three things that I must want to get that done that day. So these are the top three things where it's if I do not get anything else besides those three things done that day, I still count that day as a win with my to-do list. And that's something that works really well for me. And this works really well, especially on those days that you feel tired, because there's going to be days where you have a laundry list of things that you have to get done. Picking the top three and giving yourself a little bit of leeway and a little bit of a break is really, really beneficial on those days because there are going to be days where we're more productive just naturally. And there's going to be days where we're feeling a little bit down and we're feeling a little lacking energy just naturally. So I do think it's really important to listen to our bodies when we're feeling that way. So having that prioritization handy for those days where you're like, this just feels overwhelming. I'm just going to do these three things and then I'm going to call a day. I'm going to rest. I'm going to like sit on the couch and watch some TV and like we'll pick up again tomorrow. That is okay to give yourself that leeway. But also on that same note, it is allowing yourself just a little bit of cushion to get things done because sometimes the things on our to-do list take a little bit longer than we expect. And so if we are saying like, I have to get all 10 things done today, or else I did not make good use of my day, or else I failed at today if I do not get all 10 things done, like sometimes things take longer. Sometimes things pop up that you have to take care of that weren't on that list to begin with. Like, and then by the end of the day, if that kind of stuff happens and you don't get all 10 things done, maybe you only get 5 things done, like you are still going to feel down about yourself because you didn't get all 10 things done. But by prioritizing those top 3 things and saying, like, hey, like all these other things, like kind of took a priority today, but at least I got these 3 things done. I'm proud of myself. I count it as a win. You are just allowing yourself that flexibility again, but you're also allowing yourself and your subconscious and your mind and your body to actually get a win. And I've talked about this on podcasts before, but getting little wins like that throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout your life really are is the biggest way to really start to reprogram your mind and the way that you show up, because little wins slowly build on top of each other to make really big changes, and it slowly shows our brains and our minds and our bodies that it is safe to do things in that way. And I would say, kind of as like an asterisk to that point as well, is that there are days where I feel like I have to get so much stuff done by the end of the day that it just feels so overwhelming to the point that I like kind of freeze. And I feel like a lot of us can actually relate to that, where it's like, I don't even know where to fucking start on all the things that I need to get done because they all have to get done and I don't know where to start. Like that feeling sucks, one, but in order to overcome it, I would say the best thing that you can do is hone in on one singular step that you have to take. Like when you look at a mountain of things, it's going to feel overwhelming to get to the top every single time. But if you just look at the next step in front of your feet, that's a lot more feasible. So on those days where everything feels very overwhelming, I just hone in on one thing. Like, okay, I am just going to send this one email. And then once I get that email done, okay, what is the next thing I need to focus on? Okay, now I will just make this one phone call. And I take it very deliberately and very slowly, just one step at a time. So when you're able to do that, it makes the mountain feel not so big because you're breaking it apart into little pieces. And so, my next tip for if you really want to be productive and to overcome procrastination is to put your damn phone away. Get it away from you, get it away from yourself, and make it inconvenient for you to pop open Instagram and scroll, pop open TikTok, whatever you're doing. Like, I am the, I am such a bad, this is such a bad habit that I have myself. Like, when I am sitting at my desk and I know that I have stuff to get done, I'll like pop open a game that I have on my phone, or I'll look through Instagram and I'll start scrolling. And we have all been here where once you start scrolling, all of a sudden 45 minutes have gone by and you're like, what the fuck did I even do? Like, I didn't realize it had been that long. It felt like 5. And then all of a sudden you're way behind even further than you were on your to-do list and everything that you needed to get done. So if you're procrastinating, put your phone in a separate room from where you are working. Like, I would say that unless you like really need your phone for the work that you're doing, you do not need your phone. You can go without it for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, like even 10 minutes if you need to do it just for that short of amount of time, because our phones are they're just addictive, time-sucking machines, whether we like to admit that to ourselves or not. So, when you are putting your phone in a different room before starting the task that you're even starting, one, you're making it hard for you to break away from that task to check your phone. And like when you do have that urge to check your phone, you're going to realize like, oh yeah, I don't have it right here. Like I have to walk all the way downstairs or whatever your situation is, wherever you put it. It's going to make it a lot harder. So like a lot of the time you're going to default just to go back to the task that you're doing. But also, this helps because if you can get really focused on finishing the task that you're doing for just 10 minutes, even, that usually snowballs and builds on top of each other. Like, usually the starting part is the hardest part of any task. So, when you're able to start it and then really get into it, like it's going to be a lot easier to get it done because kind of like we mentioned earlier, you're going to get in the flow of things. Things are going to start moving forward a lot quicker. And then all of a sudden you're going to be done rather than if you are taking breaks in the middle of it and breaking up breaking it up with all of these like mini little scrolling breaks. And that kind of reminds me of that story that we read as kids, The Turtle and the Hare. And if you guys aren't familiar with it, it's just a story where a hare, which is a type of rabbit, and a turtle is they're doing a race together. And the hare, obviously a lot quicker than a turtle, it keeps like going forward really quickly. And then he's taking naps like under trees. And then all of a sudden, like we see throughout the book, the turtle slowly like creeps up on him. And then at one point, the hare takes like a little bit longer of a nap than he expected himself to, and he ended up losing the race because the turtle just consistently and steadily moved forward, and the hare kept rushing forward and stopping, rushing forward and stopping. So that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from that, where like your phone is that nap break that the hare is taking, right? And it's just slowing you down, it's getting rid of your momentum. Versus if you just take it slow and steady, if you just keep a consistent flow with the task that you're doing at hand, you are going to get it done a lot quicker. My next tip, I have to take a breath. I feel like I was talking for a long time there. So the next tip for you with all of this is to really just make it fun if you can. Like, not all of the tasks are going to be fun tasks, right? Like, especially the ones that we are dreading doing. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit harder to make it fun. But if you can make it fun in some sort of way, I highly recommend doing that because it's going to just make it a lot easier to get it done. It's kind of like when kids are in school and you turn something that they're supposed to be learning into a song. One, that makes it a lot easier to remember just because of how our brains like work. But two, it also just makes it a lot funner than just sitting there and like reading through a list of words or like whatever it is that they're learning. So make it fun, blast some music, recruit some friends to help you do it, create like a point system or a reward system for yourself for if you get it done and like give yourself a treat afterwards. Like for me, one time I was painting my basement and I was like kind of dreading finishing it because I mean, if you paint yourself, the trim work takes a long time because you want it to have clean lines, and then you have to do multiple coats most of the time. And then in my basement, like I picked the wrong like finish at first. So it was like way glossier than I wanted it, and I wanted more of a matte finish, so I had to redo it. But because it's kind of a tedious task to do on your own, I recruited my friends to come over. So, two of my girlfriends came over. We had mimosas, we had breakfast, and then we blasted music and we all painted my basement together. And rather than just being this like mundane thing that I dreaded doing and that I resented doing, and then I was like super tired afterwards, it got to be this really fun hangout with my girlfriends where we got to catch up, we got to have fun, we got to laugh with each other. And now like we like even talk about it sometimes because I mean, this is a side tangent, but my friend Tiffany, we were like also painting the ceiling. And she was just like, it's kind of an inside joke. It probably won't be funny to y'all, but like she was just like stretched out completely on like her tippy toes trying to get this roller to touch the ceiling instead of just using the ladder. And it was, I don't know, it was hilarious. So like it's a memory that we get to look back on now as a group. And it's like actually really cool that we got to turn this like mundane task into something that was really fun. And because it was three of us doing it, it got done a lot quicker. So it was really cool. If you can do that with your tasks that you have to get done, like I highly recommend it because you're turning it from a blasé experience into a really fun one. And so my last tip for overcoming procrastination and for helping you to be more productive is to really just take a second to slow down. Our minds, when we are feeling frenzied and overwhelmed, then everything else is going to feel impossible because there's already just so much going on up here. There's already so much going on in here because of the frenzied, like anxious, overwhelmed feeling. Like every single little task is going to feel a lot harder to do. So if you are in that state, even if it's just for 30 seconds, just take a moment to close your eyes, slow down, slow your breathing, big inhales, big exhales. Really just take a second to bring the energy and the focus back inside because when you're able to slow down that frenzied pace, you're able to look at things a lot more calmly and a lot more clearly. And even if you need to, just to take this a little bit further, like there are going to be days where we have a really long to-do list and there are going to be days where it is more productive to actually just take a rest day and to veg out on the couch. When I say that, I really think of families a lot because I feel like families are always really busy and families are really go, 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 especially like when you have kids, there's always so much going on and there's always going to be something for you to do. There's always going to be something for you to clean. But sometimes the best thing that you can do for yourself, for your mental health, and for your productivity is to really just give your body a really good break and to rest and to sit and to not be productive in any way, shape, or form, to really just give yourself that reset and that break that your body is craving. Because when you're on the edge of exhaustion all the time, like you are not going to be performing at your best. Things are not going to be feeling good. So, when you have the chance to really just take some time for yourself. Going with the family example, like sometimes you're not going to have a whole day to just veg out and be able to do things. That's kind of how families work sometimes when you have like young kids, especially. But if you can even just take 20 minutes at night to take a really good bubble bath for yourself, take that time to really hone in and focus on yourself and forget about the outside world. Doing little things like that for yourself are going to make a really, really big difference in your movement forward because we were not built as human beings to be go, go, go all the time. And I have mentioned this before, but we were not built to be in hustle culture 24/7. And so your body needs those breaks. When you look out at nature, nature gets breaks. Like winter, everything goes dormant. Things stop growing. And that's purposeful because things weren't meant to be growing. Things weren't meant to be doing things all the time. Like animals go into hibernation or they burrow or like whatever they do. As humans, we're just as much a part of nature as the trees, as the flowers, as the birds, as the bees, as the birds and the bees. Um, but we're just as much a part of nature. Like sometimes maybe it feels like we're a little disconnected from it because there's so much technology around us and there's just so much going on. But truly, if you can just hone in and like give yourself a break in the way that is the natural cycle of things, that is going to be doing a lot for your mental health, a lot for your overall health, and a lot for your productivity in the long run because you're giving your body a chance to rest and recalibrate. So that's pretty much all I got. I think it's a shorter episode this time, but I kind of like the shorter episodes sometimes. They're just a quick hit of everything that you really need. So I would love to hear y'all's productivity tips as well. So if you didn't hear something here, I would love to hear what y'all do for yourselves to help you be more productive when you're in a funk or when you're just feeling really blah and not wanting to do the things that you need to get done. I always love to hear more, and I would love to share them with everybody else that listens to the podcast too. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you all next week. All right. Love you. Bye. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you liked what you heard, then go ahead and subscribe so you get updates with us every week. You can also follow us on Instagram at KRC Coaching. If you're interested in working one-on-one, then go ahead and visit our website, krccoaching.com, to book your first 30-minute session for free. All right, thanks so much, you guys. Love you. Bye.